In a dramatic escalation in the Middle East, Israel has launched a series of targeted airstrikes on Iranian military sites, a response to recent missile attacks allegedly originating from Iran. This retaliatory strike, which specifically targeted missile manufacturing facilities and key air defense systems across Iran, represents a significant intensification of the long-standing tension between the two nations. Reports from Tehran and other Iranian regions have confirmed multiple explosions, although Iran's state-controlled media has stated that their air defense systems were able to intercept some of the attacks, resulting in what they claim is limited damage. This conflict underscores the fraught relationship between Israel and Iran, as well as the strategic balance each seeks to maintain in the region. The airstrikes were reportedly well planned, as Israel honed in on sites critical to Iran's missile program and its defensive infrastructure. The United States, an ally of Israel, has also stepped into the fray, issuing a direct warning to Iran to avoid retaliation. Washington has publicly emphasized that the strikes were executed in self-defense, framing Israel's actions as necessary and preemptive to protect its sovereignty. This strong backing by the U.S. reinforces the deep alliance between the two nations and serves as a signal to Iran that any counter-response could have broad international repercussions. The Israel-Iran conflict is deeply rooted, with Israel repeatedly voicing concern over Iran's nuclear ambitions, military activities, and its potential to disrupt regional stability. This recent confrontation is part of a series of conflicts that underscore both countries' extensive intelligence, surveillance, and military capabilities. Israel has long been vigilant in its efforts to counter Iran's influence in the region, often through strategic military actions targeting what it perceives as threats from Iranian-backed forces and infrastructure. From Iran's perspective, the airstrikes represent a severe provocation, yet their official statements aim to downplay the damage, with reports claiming that the defense systems intercepted much of the assault. This careful narrative management is likely intended to maintain morale within Iran and to avoid provoking internal panic. Iran's state media has also suggested that the damage was minimized thanks to their defensive capabilities, a move aimed at presenting a controlled and resilient front to both domestic and international audiences. The reaction from Iran will be closely watched over the coming days. While its officials may publicly downplay the extent of the attacks, the high stakes and strategic significance of the targeted sites mean that Tehran may be assessing various countermeasures. However, the U.S. intervention and its classification of Israel's strikes as self-defense complicate matters for Iran, effectively raising the diplomatic cost of any direct retaliation. In the broader geopolitical landscape, this incident underscores the fragile balance of power in the Middle East. Israel and Iran's adversarial relationship, compounded by military buildups, surveillance, and regional alliances, has escalated tensions for decades. Israel has consistently advocated for a hard stance on Iran's nuclear aspirations, arguing that a nuclear-capable Iran would be a destabilizing force in the region. Iran, in turn, has maintained that its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes, although these assurances have done little to ease Israel's concerns or those of its allies. The United States' involvement in this incident reinforces its role as a key player in Middle Eastern affairs. Washington's stern warning to Iran serves as a reminder of its support for Israel and a clear signal to Iran that the West is monitoring its moves closely. This adds an international dimension to the conflict, as global powers often find themselves drawn into the region's web of alliances and rivalries. The Middle East has long been a focal point for these complex dynamics, with the U.S., Russia, and other major players keeping a close eye on developments that could impact their own strategic interests. For now, the situation remains tense, with military analysts and political observers speculating on the potential for further escalation. Each strike, defense maneuver, and diplomatic warning adds to the long and intricate history of Israeli-Iranian relations, with each country vying to strengthen its regional influence while avoiding all-out conflict. The role of diplomacy, military restraint, and intelligence in this confrontation will be critical in the coming weeks, as both nations navigate the high-stakes environment shaped by regional rivalries and international alliances.